Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mystical Awakenings Radio here on KGRA, the only digital broadcasting station you need to listen to. A big shout out to our producer, Bill Skywatcher, who makes us look good on this side, as good as we can anyway. I want a big shout out for the gentleman who did the music for our intro there, Mark Jagger. You can find him on starboardquest.com. He's got a lot of cool music out there. My wife is not here tonight because she is out rescuing a friend of ours who had a horrible accident. She got hit by a car, broken arm, broken leg. And they went over to see how she was doing because she lives by herself. She has nobody. And she was not doing well. So they took her into emergency tonight. So that's what my wife does. She helps everybody. So anyway, I'm going to try to stay on track tonight. We're going to talk about ETs and spirituality. But first of all, I want to get into this. Has anybody seen the new video, the interview by the whistleblower Matthew Brown? It was by Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. It just came out. I think it did. Anyway, I just saw it yesterday. Kind of blown away by it. But, Matthew Brown was a former National Security Intelligence officer. So he was definitely in the know. When he did this interview, I can tell you, he was very nervous, a little scared. And bless him for coming out and saying this. But, I've been studying this ufology for a very long time, and just when you think you're getting somewhere where you think everything's going to be okay, stuff comes out like it just blows your mind. And it's still going to be okay, but what he had to say, and I'll get into some of this in a minute here. It's just a little. It's not that I'm surprised by it, but it's just wow. He talked about that. That we really have no idea of what's really going on behind the scenes when it comes to this topic of ETs and UFOs and UAPs, is that he said we are truly living in a matrix that has been made to just flat out lie to all of us. What we think is reality is not reality. And have you seen that, Bill?
I have not, but the general consensus of what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I want your opinion on this. And everybody in chat, and hello to Curtis and Tom and Lee, Liz, Sylvia, everybody that's participating in the chat. Hello, and how are you?
How do I pull up that chat? Just click on it.
Comments area on the upper right, and you'll see everybody saying hello. And
okay. There we go. Hi, everybody. Hi, Curtis.
Here's the issue I have, and I've been having it for quite some time.
Okay.
Just like you, I've been involved with this for a long time.
Right.
I personally, when I hear someone come forward, and trust me, I give them a lot of credit because we know what happens when someone comes forward. They're immediately attacked.
Right.
People try to discredit them, intimidate them, even sadly and heinously threatened. And not just them, but their families.
Yeah.
But here's the problem I have.
Okay.
I don't care if 200 whistleblowers come forward.
Right.
Because, like he says, well, you can't imagine what's going on. Well, you know what? Fill us in.
Yeah.
Show us some evidence.
Yeah.
Show us some documentation. Show the public anything. Because you know what? To me, when I hear it, it might be interesting. Like, whoa, I never heard that one before. But
Right.
It's a story.
Yeah.
It's an account. Without anything to back it up with any actual evidence, the public in general, not, there's a lot of people that are in the UFO field, the community like ourselves and many others that know basically a lot of the stories that have been circling around for decades.
Right.
But unless something comes forward like real tangible proof and evidence, it's just a story.
Yeah. I mean,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It can be very possible that this is part of the false narrative too. That
could be anything.
Yeah.
But see, here's what you just brought up is another important point. Let's say hypothetically, they came out with, let's say, a person like Robert Salas or whoever it is, who is a former retired military personnel. That for Robert Salas, and he's a good friend of mine.
Right.
And so I can kind of speak of what he's been through.
Yeah.
In Maelstrom in 1967, when he was the commanding officer in the silo, underground, 80 feet, in a reinforced concrete bunker, and something's going on above ground, and he said that the communication, they were frightened. The officers above ground were frightened about what they were witnessing. Right. Something was hovering over the bay. Okay, it's a story, and I 100% believe Robert, not 100%. But there has to be classified information that can correlate that something was picked up on radar over the base at such time when the missiles were turned off or there was some kind of a malfunction or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So in an instance like that, and I know Robert said, Bill, my bags are packed. I'm ready to go to Washington. All they got to do is make the call, and I'm there. And he met with congressional officials behind the scenes, like Nancy Mace. He did meet with her. But again, unless they provide some information to the public, but here's the crux of the problem. Even if they do, in the state that we live in right now, with mistrust and confusion, you don't know what to believe. Even if they came out with something, people are going to say, that's fake. That's part of a false flag. That's part of the deep state.
That's a conspiracy theory.
Right. Yeah. So damned if you do and damned if you don't, because to me, it's a no-win situation. So why would you put yourself in, if you were in the government's position, why would you even want to be put in that position?
Right.
You would try to prevent this stuff from coming out no matter what, because you're not going to open up Pandora's box. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's it's hard to get actual evidence from it, but and I'll go into what he said, but yeah, you're right. I mean, do we really know it's true? We don't, and that's the way they have it set up. So we're always in a confused state, and so that's what's the most frustrating thing about this topic that we go into. It's got to the point: are they feeding us just a bunch of bullshit? Is it true? What are we supposed to believe? We don't know. And I agree with you 100% there. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, I guess, and just, I guess when you hear a lot of different things or the same thing from a lot of different people, it might have some validity to it. Because
then it's mass hallucination.
Yeah, mass hallucination, right? Yeah, I never thought about that. So anyway, I'll get into what he said. And you want to chime in and let me know.
I just wanted, because when you brought that up, because it really is something.
Yeah,
that's a crux for me, and it's so frustrating because all these upcoming hearings, they get excited, they get worked up, but
yeah. So what's come out of them so far? Nothing, right? We've heard of it, and nothing's coming out, really. I mean, nothing. It's like thank you, okay, and then business as usual.
And you know what's important? When people have their own personal experiences, That's important.
Right. Right.
Because no one can take that away from you.
No. And I think that's where it's coming from. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I've had my experience. I'm sure you've had your experiences. I know you have.
Right.
And Deb. And I'm sure some of the folks that are in this chat right now.
Right.
It's your experience. You own it. It doesn't matter what other people say or think. It's your experience, and that's all that matters.
Right.
It's what your experience means to you. And like you have this show, The Spiritual Side of the UAP Phenomenon. We've had Michael J. Carter here. We know how incredible the work he's done in research with religious texts, the connections, his own personal experiences. But like for me, when I had because I had actually two. One was in 95 and one was like 1999 to 2000. I don't know what the heck I seen.
Right.
Okay? I don't. All I know was it was unbelievably incredible. The first one, the triangle boomerang thing in 95, okay, maybe that was a top secret military craft at the time. Yeah. Now, this predates Phoenix Lights.
Right.
But this area, the Hudson Valley, New York, this whole area was known for this activity.
Yeah.
Now,
Whitley Strieber, right?
Yes, Communion. Yeah. I know where he had the house, but I can't say because he doesn't like referring to the town. But it's to my north. It's not far. But I won't say what it is because I don't want to Whitley Strieber. But I seen something on the beach in Montauk where the whole ocean, I say the whole ocean, it lit up from the lights above it. It was nighttime, and you could see all the lights reflecting from the sky on the ocean. It looked like it was just all lit up. It was incredible. It was a life-changing spiritual moment for me, but not in the religious sense.
Right, right.
It was more like
you felt there's so much more to life.
Yes, there was a connection there.
Yeah.
Because I called it.
Right.
But I'd said it as a joke. And it happened. So I don't mess around with that no more. But
right.
I did at the time, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that you lack your faith in your religious beliefs.
Right.
Creator.
Right.
Whatever it is. Or maybe lack thereof.
Right.
Because both can exist to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't see an issue with that. I'm raised Catholic, you know what I mean? So, but I will say, and I've always said this to people, when you I even tell Michael when we have conversation with him, if you take, for example, in the text of the Bible, and I love this Ezekiel, the wheel within the wheel, and it's coming in, it looks like an amber color, and there's creatures around it. That's not mentioned many times in the Bible. Now, this is more of a visionary thing of Ezekiel, but still, something's going on here that could be.
He was trying to explain something that he was looking at.
Right. With what was known at the time with their surrounding, what their familiarities would be, like a wheel or a gem.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
a scientist recreated what he saw, and it I think it flew and it moved and it had wheels, and they showed exactly what it is, and he saw it was kind of cool. Did you see that?
I never saw that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there could be examples even in religious texts that could be describing a UFO encounter.
Yes.
So even in an instance like that, and if you think about, and this might be controversial, but it shouldn't be. If God is the creator, God is not of this earth. God is the creator of life on it. Thus, God is, by definition, not a terrestrial being.
Right.
Thus, outer terrestrial, extraterrestrial,
interdimensional,
terrestrial, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So when you look at it that way, is that by definition is the creator extraterrestrial in nature, because it's not a terrestrial origin. It's not of this earth.
Right.
It came from out there. And created us here.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't see the issue with it. It might be a little controversial for some, but I don't see the issue. So there is a spiritual side.
Yeah.
I will say there have been films, and there's been a push in recent decade or so trying to create those who speak of extraterrestrials or the belief or abductees or that as some kind of a new age cult,
Right.
and
And
trying
it's
to make
not.
religion out of it. It is
No.
not.
It's nothing new at all. It's been going on forever.
And it's just people
Yeah.
having experiences
Right. Right.
that they cannot explain. It's something otherworldly, or it may be divine intervention,
Yeah.
or interdimensional, or whatever it is. But there are many people out there that are having experiences that, are extraordinary. That's the best way I could put it. So I
Right.
just wanted to come on and chime in for a few minutes. I hope you don't mind that I
No,
jumped.
I don't mind. I'm glad you did. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. I appreciate it.
But to all those in chat, have a great evening and enjoy the rest of the show with RJ. And my love to Deb.
Yes. I'll pass that along. She'll see that.
See you
All right,
later.
thank you, Bill. So what he said was, you've got to be careful we don't know what the truth is anymore because they made it that way. It's so frustrating. I mean, I guess you have to just feel from your heart what resonates with you, what vibrates with you. But, this guy, I want to get into what he said. He was telling Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp that, that we had no idea, what the Matrix really is. The Matrix is it's just beyond that, what we can even imagine, that they have made it so that we don't know what really is going on. I know we've heard this before, but the way he was talking was like, but we just don't have an idea about it. So, he said that, and Curtis, I know you've watched these, and so if I see anything wrong, just let me know. But I'm just gonna paraphrase here a lot of things he said. He said that we may be a commodity. We may be a farm for people for medical things and DNA, which I'm not really happy with that. We may be entertainment for some, he said. I mean, it might be funny to watch us do what we do down here. But he also said that that's just some of them. And by the way, there are people on this planet who control this planet and have been controlling it for a very long time, who are part of this matrix even more than they are. But some of them are working together. They do not want us to know what's going on. The science they've been teaching us is not real. The education we've been given, it's not really what we need to evolve and to become what we should be. You may be smart in some things, but where's it getting you? Is it what we really need to know spiritually to evolve? I don't think so. So, he said that he was showing pictures of several, and movies and clips too, I think, Curtis, he said, of several different UFOs and UAPs. I'm going to call them UFOs because I'm older. So, and the ones that were like a jellyfish are real. The disc are real. So that's what he was saying. And he was also shown, and I think maybe you've met some of the extraterrestrials. And he talked about the Nordics or the tall whites, which I think are Pleiadians. He talked about the grays, and there are several different kinds of grays. He talked about the reptilians and, all kinds of different kinds of reptilians. Now, I want to make it clear that I don't think all reptilians are bad, okay? We've been told that, but I think there's actually some out there that are very loving and want to help us. He talked about the insectoids, So what it is to me is that life everywhere, whatever form you're in, the goal is to reach its highest form, its highest ability, its highest consciousness. So it's not hard to imagine some insect somewhere evolving into a very intelligent, creative being, okay? Or a reptile, or a feline like a lyran, or an ape, or a human. We're all trying to evolve to be the best we can. So Curtis says, one thing that stuck with me is he said multiple factions of the same species as well as multiple species. Yes. So what Curtis is saying here is that there are many of these species within themselves that want to help us and some that don't. They're no different than humans. There's good humans and bad humans. There's humans on this planet that control this place, that don't want us to be evolved. And it's a handful of people. They've controlled this place for a very long time. They pushed all the buttons. They pulled all the strings. And I think it's happened since we had the great deluge, the great flood. It was a great time when most people got wiped out to take over again and to make it the way you want to. Keep all the secrets to yourself, all the knowledge to yourself. And they've been doing this for a very long time. But guess what? We're waking up. And they know it. So, there's a struggle going on, a battle going on now for our sovereignty, for our evolution, for our spirit, our soul, for us to be who we're supposed to be. Okay. So if you get a chance to watch it, check it out. You can probably look at interview with Matthew Brown, with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. It's just something to look into if you like to do that stuff. Again, like Bill said, is it true? I can't say 100% it is, but it's interesting. It's interesting what he has to say. So take it for whatever it's worth. I just wanted to get that out there. So we're supposed to be talking about spirituality and ETs. Now, a couple of years ago, Deb and I did a speech up in Michigan Paracon on this topic, and I have some of the notes right here on it. And I won't be able to get into all of it tonight, but spirituality, what is spirituality? Like Bill and I were talking about earlier, being spiritual. What's that mean? It's not necessarily being religious, but again, I'm not here to try to change however you believe and what you believe in. I think religion and spirituality can survive together. I really do. Just like I think science and spirituality are coming together. So just take it for what it's worth, But being a spiritual person is you're learning on your own. You're learning to try to be unconditional love. You're trying to accept the people who they are. Okay. And it's not easy being a spiritual person. Now, this doesn't mean a spiritual person just lets everybody walk all over them, or it doesn't mean that they don't stand up for what is right. It's not all rainbows and unicorns, and kumbaya, as Michael Carter would say. But because it's not easy to stay in a state of love all the time, especially here where we exist. And it's designed that way. They don't want us loving one another. They want us fighting one another. Because if we loved one another the way we're supposed to, we would have a lot of power and a lot of ability to change things and manifest things in love, not fear and hate. Does that make sense? Hey, Deb just popped in. She said, "This is Deb. I'm sorry I couldn't be here tonight. RJ rocks." Thank you, honey. He's got this. I hope so. Anyway, so let's get into this. What would happen if all of a sudden a bunch of extraterrestrial races did land on the White House lawn? How is that going to change us? I can tell you it's going to change us in many, many, many ways. And like Bill was talking about, it's hard to explain. But when you have an experience with something that's not from here, but it's intelligent and it's life, it changes you forever. I mean, it's beyond words sometimes. Okay. So spirituality means that you learn from your own mistakes. We are not sinners. We're human. We're born to make mistakes. And hopefully we learn from them. Okay. So, when I was growing up, there was a couple things I noticed you never really talked about. That was politics and religion. because it seemed like everybody, when they talked about them, they all argued about them all the time. So we're not going to talk about politics tonight. I will not do that. But we might have to mention religion a little bit, okay, since we're talking about spirituality and ETs. Now, I want to bring a little Bible into this right now. There's some quotes from Moses. Moses, the great prophet, had a revelation. And what's a revelation? It's something that's revealed to you, okay? And there's a debate whether God was talking to him or an extraterrestrial was talking to him. But somebody was talking to him and said, "And worlds without number I have created." That means there's so many worlds out there that I can't even number them, okay? But it says, "and created them for my own purpose." Does God have an ego? I don't know. A little funny to me. Moses 135 says, "For behold, there are many worlds that have passed away by the word of my power." Wow. Whatever that means, that's pretty powerful. "And there are many that now stand, an innumerable amount that are, innumerable are they unto man, but all things are numbered unto me, for they are mine and I know them." So again, we have the concept that there are so many worlds out there, they can't be counted. But then again, this person, whether it be the creator or God talking, says, they are mine and I know them. So, I don't know. I'm sorry, I just got a little problem with that. Forgive me. Moses 138 says, "As one earth shall pass." Now they're just not talking about this earth. They're talking about planets like Earth. "Shall pass away, and the heavens thereof, even so shall another come." So if one's being destroyed, one's being created. "And there is no end to my works, neither to my words." So we're talking about a whole universe out there, a multiverse of worlds. We can no longer be foolish and not believe that this universe, this multiverse, is teeming with life and full of creation, okay? There's just too much evidence. Now I'll get into some of the scientific evidence of it. Astronomers using the Kepler space mission. Now this was the Kepler. The new one, I don't know what the name of it is, Bill. Do you know what the new telescope is they have out there? Anyway, they've got a much better improved one out there. They can see a lot farther and see many more things than the Kepler space one could. But just using the Kepler one, they found out that there are at least 300 million potential habitable worlds in our own galaxy, okay? So, and I'm sure with this new telescope, they're finding out there's even more. So, in 2016, it was estimated that the observable universe contains 2 trillion or 2 million galaxies. Note, the observable universe. It's not talking about the universe we can't see. So how much bigger is that? It's infinite. So if you times 40 million times 2 trillion, I got these numbers I got out of a book. Well, you don't have enough paper to write that down. The number is too large. Of Earth-like planets. Now, does it have to be an Earth-like planet for an advanced civilization to live on? No, it doesn't. They could live underneath the surface and build their own cities and whatever they want to under there. So that even brings the number up even more. This universe and every multi-universe is teeming with life. And we are a part of it. And that's got to make you happy. It's got to make you feel good. Don't limit what creation can do. There's no limit to it. Just don't keep it on this planet. If this was the only planet in this universe, God help us. Okay. So it's just not true. Okay. Again, the scientists say that the universe was created about 15 billion years ago, and that our own solar system was created 4.5 billion years ago. If this information is true, here we go again. Is it true? And there is life everywhere in the universe. I think it's safe to say that not only do we have neighbors, but some of these neighbors have been here a lot longer than we have, and could be thousands, if not millions, or even billions of years, light years ahead of us in technology and spirituality. Okay? So we should be joyful that there's actually other beings out there that could teach us what being spiritual really means, and show us technology that is beyond even imagination, that does good for everything in the universe and everything that exists in it. Okay. So let me ask you this. Have you ever really thought about how you would feel if this just came out on the news in 10 minutes that they've landed? How you're going to react? I mean, it's going to change everything, especially spiritually. So, something to think about, that, how is my life going to change? I mean, how are my beliefs going to change when I know what the truth is? It's okay to be, to continue to believe what you want to, and believe what gets you through life and through daily life. It's okay. But there might be something out there that rings even truer. And one of those things is supposed to be the law of one. Some of you may have heard this. The law of one is supposedly something that a lot of these different extraterrestrial races believe in. And that's everything comes from the same source. Everything's connected and everything's equal. Okay. You're not unequal because you have more technology. It has nothing to do with spirituality. Okay. So I'm looking forward to the day, if it happens in this lifetime, to finding out what's really going on out there spiritually. And we all should be that way. And we shouldn't feel ashamed, or we shouldn't feel, oh my God, they lied to me. It doesn't matter. What matters is the truth, and you should be glad that you get the truth. Okay. But how do we know it's the truth? Well, I can't guarantee you that, and I can't guarantee you anything. But if somebody's been around a billion more years than us, I think they know a little more than we do. You guys agree with that? Okay. Again, I just want to point this out because, we're going through some times right now that everybody's on the edge of the seat, I think. I am. You just feel something's in the air. Yeah, so I'm thank you for bringing that up, Curtis. In this interview, the last thing he said is God is real. And that's the first time he really had a smile on his face. He said, God is real. Now, does this mean God's a old man with a beard and a nice looking hat and some braids? No, not at all. So we don't even know what God is. So Liz says, it seems like humans have known but have forgotten. Yeah, and that's just by design, Liz, in my opinion. Whoever's taken over the last 10,000 years has really messed things up. So, I mean, you know, they've made it the way they wanted to. Greed and whatever, you know, money, and not everybody gets to know the truth. One thing Matthew did say in that interview is that we have freedom of speech, but we don't have freedom of information. That is only known by the few. And it's always been that way, because knowledge is power. We can talk about all we want. Most people aren't going to believe you anyway. But we don't have freedom of information, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find out the information. But at what cost? Some people will pay for their lives trying to get information out there. And that's a fact. So, I'm just kind of skipping around here. I hope I'm not boring you guys, but this is stuff that I just like to talk about. You know, I want to say one more thing about like religion. You know, there's 30,000 Christian practices around the world. 30,000 different Christian practices around the world. There's 3 different Muslim practices, over 20 different Jewish practices. And one time there were about 19 different Buddhist practices and at least 15 different Hindu practices. There are several pagan beliefs and practices and many indigenous beliefs. There are cult beliefs as well as many atheists. And we can look at this in a couple of ways. On one hand, it shows that it's cool that we can all believe in what we want to and have different choices. On the other hand, it can be an indication that we don't know what the hell to believe in, and we are quite divided in what really is going on. So getting back to the fact that, you know, if they showed up and they're 1 billion years older than us and been around, if they know the truth about spirituality, I'm all for it. If it unites us all, okay? So I just, you know, I want to point that out that, you know, when this goes down, and I'm hoping, I'm thinking it's going to, I don't know when, I can't guarantee if it's going to be tomorrow or 20 years or 30 years, 100 years from now, but, you know, it's going to change us. It's going to change who we are and how we feel and how we think, and I think for the better. I can only hope that and believe that. So we'll see. Who are our neighbors? There's a book by, let's see if I can get, I never can say this guy's name right. Campapasso is his last name. I think that's how you pronounce it. Craig Campapasso. Maybe some of you read this. There's 82 extraterrestrial races that we know. How does he know this? He says that he's got this information from other people who have seen him, and he actually has pictures of all these different beings and who they are and what they believe in, and a lot of them believe in the law of one, but that's 82 just probably in our little vicinity, our neighborhood here, okay? There's probably an infinite amount of different kinds of life out there, which is exciting to me. So now, I believe that we've been traveling in space with UFOs, okay? For a long time now, since we've reversed engineered some of these crashes that we've gotten back in the 40s and 30s and till now. So now what would you think that if we would travel to a planet that was about 3,000 years behind us, what are they going to think about us? They're going to think we're gods. Oh my God, what is this, you know? These people have crafts that fly around and they landed and they've had all this technology and all this knowledge. You know, the same thing happened here. You know, when the Anunnaki, if you believe in that story, the Anunnaki, when they came, same thing happened. They were treated like gods, you know. So this is something that happens, and I'm sure we've encountered that already. So Curtis is not boring at all. This is one of the most ontologically sensitive shows you've done. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Liz, humans have known all this but forgotten. Yeah, it's true. We've had so many different civilizations on this planet. They go way back. I mean, a long way back, way beyond our history. Okay, and I'm gonna give you my take on this. One time we had dinosaurs on this planet, and I think that was the reptilian program. I really do. I mean, they don't talk about the Bible or anywhere else really. But I think it was a reptilian program they had going on here. And the word is, they were here and they were taken out because some of the reptilians and the Lyrans have been battling forever. And I think the dinosaurs were taken out. Their program was taken out. And the Lyrans started the mammalian program here, which included apes and mammals and things like that. And somebody has been genetically, I want to say, improving this humanoid form for a long time. Now, you can't go from Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon man or Homo erectus to Homo sapien in the shortest time that they did. That would take a long time for evolution to happen. So it was genetically, absolutely genetically made to happen. So, along with everything else, Neanderthal man they had a bigger brain than we did. They didn't have technology, but I think they were more spiritual than we were. This thing about, the caveman. Well, I'll tell you the story about the caveman, in my opinion. When the world gets destroyed by 200 feet tsunamis and everything's destroyed, where are you going to live? You're going to live in a cave, okay? Doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you're actually smart because you're trying to, survive. So, yeah, there were cave people because that was the only place to live. Everything was wiped out. 400 feet below Cuba, off the coast of Cuba, I think, 300 feet, whatever, they found pyramids there. So at one time, the water was that low, okay? I mean, this water wiped out everything, man, everything. There's evidence off the coast of India, off the coast of Japan. And it didn't wipe everybody out, though, not everybody, but a lot of people. So you're going to live in a cave. Trust me. And you might have lived in a great technical, logical city with all kinds of technology that we don't even have today. But when you have kids in a cave and you try to tell them that, they're not going to believe you, or they're not going to understand what you're talking about because they weren't there. So after one generation, that's all lost. It's all lost. And it has to start up again. And I think some people that stepped in to start off this new one were not necessarily very spiritual. And they've been controlling for a long time. And that's just my opinion. Any comments out there, guys? I know I've been rambling on. I want to say that I'm so pleased that all you people come on every week and listen to us. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us, trust me. And on not only this show, the other show we do. And so thank you so much. And I don't want to name because I'll forget a name, but you know who I'm talking about. So I want to mention that we have a retreat coming up in the Upper Peninsula at the end of May 30th, 31st. There are few cabins left, not very many. So, call Birch Shore Resort. I think it's in McMillan or Curtis. It's right on the border. It's small towns. Talk to Jay, and if you want to go, because we're going to have some ghost hunting. We're going to have some Bigfoot excursion time, and we're going to have some CE5 work going on at night, along with healing and speakers and vendors and readers and all kinds of cool stuff going on. So it's just, it's just fun to be a hippie all your life. I'll enjoy that. We're going to have a drumming going on too. So if you're interested in that, and the prices are amazing, especially if you go on with people. I mean, the 3-bedroom, the biggest cabin, the cabins have everything you need. Is $125 a night, and the 2 nights you split that with 3 people, so it's very cheap. And it's on the biggest lake in the UP, beautiful Manistee Lake. And I've been up there, trust me, several times, and have seen many things in the sky up there. So we will see stuff. Well, if Mother Nature lets us. We'll see. This year, I swear to God, Mother Nature forgot to take her Prozac because she's been all over the place. It's going to be 80 tomorrow and then like 39 at night in a couple of days. So that's just the way Michigan is. And Liz says, yes, I heard this just today, running and fighting for our lives, living in caves. We forgot pretty quickly where we came from. Exactly. Yeah, that's what happens when you wipe out the world, So, they knew how to start fire. They knew how to make fire. They had technology that, they didn't have to start fires, but I'm sure they had knowledge of it. They know how to grow things. They know how to hunt. They know how to do that stuff because, they were very advanced people. They weren't cavemen. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. We still have some time, but I'm not sure we're going to have on next week. See next week. Well, we're going to be going up to the retreat early, so I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll keep you informed. If not, we'll have some kind of show on here for you. And again, I want to thank all of you for listening, and it means so much to all of us here that you guys enjoy this because it's a passion that we have. I also want to mention the Michigan UFO Contact Convention that's coming up in September, the end of September. Tickets are going quick on that too. We have a lot of cool people coming. Andrea Perrin is going to make it this year again, so that'll be worth the ticket alone to see her. And we're working really hard at that. My wife works very hard behind the scenes, doing all the flights and all the promotion and all that. I just kind of get my helping hand what I can do, but yeah, we're looking forward to that too. This will be our 8th year on the convention, so we're very happy with that. And God willing, we'll keep it up. So again, I hope just kind of opened your eyes because, whatever you believe in now, whether you're religious or spiritual, whatever, I guarantee you that when this disclosure comes down fully, like the way I want it to, we have to be prepared that our beliefs might change, okay? They might change. So we got to be prepared for that. And technology is going to change. Now, there's technology out there waiting to come into existence here. You've heard of med beds. You've heard there's free energy. We don't have to pay for energy. It's free, medical things that possibly could reverse aging. Okay. Why would we want to do that? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll be 70 this year. And I feel like I'm a teenager. I'm just learning all this stuff. But somebody set it up where I have to leave and come back and start all over again. That's not fair. Not to me. We used to live a long time. Imagine what you could accomplish in one lifetime if you could add, another 700 years onto your life. So anyway, I've got about 3 minutes, and I've just really ran out of things to say, other than keep doing what you're doing, keep believing, keep the research up, keep finding out the truth, and we're going to get there. Trust me, we're going to get there. It's not easy, not at all. They're fighting us tooth and nail to get there, but it's each and every individual just putting some time and effort and love into it that's going to make this happen. Okay, so until we meet again, like my wife always says, may all your awakenings be mystical. And thank you very much. Good night, everybody.